What up, wolves? Blade Master here, back with some more Total War Rome 2 online action. And it's been quite a while. Actually, at the time of recording it, it's about 5 hours before Black Sea Colony is released. I'm eagerly awaiting that for sure, but I wasn't able to record anything for the past couple of days because my processor apparently was overheating to the point of reaching 100 degrees Celsius. So it was actually it was actually reaching boiling temperatures. So hopefully I'll be able to get it fixed in a couple of days. I'm getting a new CPU cooler from Dubai because unfortunately where I live you can't really find anything related to PC components. But in the meanwhile, I've got this online battle for you guys. I've taken Macedon against Roman Ronan, who's taken Rome. So Rome is definitely one of the much better factions currently. Hastati have been really improved, I think, just from the regular game mechanics. They have a much more important place in the battlefield now. And with Macedon, I've taken Pike build. Macedon is definitely a good faction to pick. Not something that would be truly competitive, but definitely has the tools to beat some of the stronger factions in the game, but not necessarily something as strong as Rome. But with Macedon, I've taken a Pike course of a total of 6 pikemen. All 6 of them are going to be the regular 600 talent pikemen. In hindsight, I don't think I would pick these pikemen anymore because for 600 talents, you're not really getting a lot of money, a lot of good stats. Their base morale at 45 is just really terrible, and the only reason I wanted to bring them was because I thought that their morale is good enough that they'd be able to withstand rear charges. But with the base morale of 45, they would definitely not stand up to rear charge. So basically, might as well just bring Levy Pikemen for 150 talents instead. Behind them, I brought 3 Rhodian Slingers who are going to be taking shots at Roman Ronan's auxiliary Syrian archers, and he's put Whistling Shot on his men. So let's see how if that has an actual effect. Meanwhile, while he's been doing this, my slingers have been getting a couple of extra volleys on his Syrian archers, and I've focused fire on them. And that's why I think Whistling Shot doesn't really have much of a use right now because the range penalty is a bit too much. So I've got those guys. I've brought a total of 4 Thurea spears and a total of 4 Thessalian cav. And I actually retract my previous statement about Thessalians and mid-tier shock cav not being very good. I think Thessalians are actually quite decent. And if you can use them right, they can be pretty good. And finally, I brought a shield bearer general. Meanwhile, Roman Ronan has brought, as we saw earlier, he's brought a couple of auxiliary Syrian archers. 1 Hastati up in front, it looks like, and a couple of Hastati on his flanks. And he's brought a main line of some just incredibly powerful sword infantry. He's brought a couple of Eagle cohort, 1 on either flank, I believe, and 4 Avocadi cohort, and a couple of legionaries units. And 2 Equites, 1 Saki Equites Extraordinary, and a couple of Vigiles to protect his general and bodyguard unit and his auxiliary Syrian archers. Now, I've turned on Pike Phalanx back again because I turned it off earlier because I thought he was going to shoot at my pikemen with his auxiliary Syrian archers. Now I've turned on quick reload and I'm focus firing on some of his Avocadis. I need to at least whittle them down and lower their HP by as much as possible. So just aiming at the ones which are on my flanks so that I'll be able to get better shots off. And what is this? I don't think I've ever seen blue shields on Romans. Have I know I've just used Ancient Colors mod, so I'm not really sure. Maybe this is something wrong with the mod. I don't know. I've just never seen them. I've never seen blue shields on Roman infantry before. He's going to start smashing my pikemen with javelins now with his Pila, and some of my Rhodian Slingers are going to get shot at by his Syrian archers. And I've put attack orders on my pikemen, so they're going to start killing off some of his Avocadis. But his Equites meanwhile have gotten some good shots or have got a good charge off on my units. His Hastati is going to start attacking my Thurea spears. Meanwhile, my Thessalians are going to chase off after his Equites and going to get a pretty uninterrupted rear charge on his Equites, so they should be able to die very, very quickly now. And now he's pulling away with his Hastati and his Avocadi cohorts, which is good, but as long as I can screen them off, that's good. But he's getting some shots off on my mercenary Rhodians, and they're getting slaughtered now. His Equites have died because of these Thurea spear support. He's coming in with an Avocadi, and I have to pull off my Thessalians really quickly from that battle. He thought he'd get cheeky with his Saki Equites and came to the back of my army, but I turned around my Thurea spears and they're going to get some great shots off on these guys, so my Thessalians should be able to win that pretty easily. I've put my Thoria spears on a square formation, and I've engaged attack orders with my pikemen. And let's see how well my Thessalians have done so far. This one has killed off that Equites pretty easily. The other Thessalian, I got a straight charge off on his Eagle cohort, so they got a couple of kills on that, so around 15 kills. And with these units, I'm going to engage these Evocati cohorts and get some pretty decent charges on them. For Thessalians, I think more than anything, they need to be able to get at least 3 or 4 charges for them to be useful, and that itself could be quite the disadvantage. But they can definitely be quite useful units in at least killing off enemy mid-tier cav pretty easily and pretty quickly. So these Thessalians have got 66 kills. I believe I rushed one of his Hastadi initially, and that caused a lot of casualties for those Hastadi. Now I've reinforced this blob with my general and turned on hoplite phalanx, so they will do really well in these in this sort of situation, especially against an already depleted Evocati cohort. I'm moving up with my pikemen to just try and engage some more of his Hastadi, and force him to move away with his auxiliary Syrian archers. And but at this point, my Rhodian slingers are far enough that they can concentrate on killing off his Evocati cohorts. Now these Thoria spears are in square formation, and they're just going to be like these little outposts, these little those Age of Empires towers. You just put them up there, and they're just going to start firing at all directions. So they're really useful in that aspect. Now his Evocatis have been sandwiched between my pikemen and my shield bearer general, but he's also brought another Evocati to support, and that's what I was talking about with their 45 base morale. They start wavering really quickly, and that kind of ruins their usefulness. Now I'm getting another charge off with my Thessalians. They've already got a single experience chevron just from getting 51 kills, and these Thessalians as well are going to get rear charge on his Evocatis, I believe. Yeah, so that's definitely going to help whittle them down, because they can be really powerful units, as we all know. And this is just going to form a huge blob. I'm going to sandwich these two Evocatis in between my two pikemen, and let's see what else is going on. His Evocatis again are going to get charged over here by my Thessalians. I think I cycle charge here. So this is going to be the second charge onto these Evocatis. They're racking up the kills, but they're racking them up very slowly. And one good thing is the shield bearers haven't been rear charged, so they are going to take a long time to die, and in the meanwhile they will be able to get a lot of kills. Remember that hoplite phalanx does give your units +5 bonus versus infantry, so that is really useful. And thanks to Maximus Decimus Meridius for pointing that out. He's got a really good YouTube channel that you guys should check out, and I'll link that in the description as well. Now, Rhodians have got 70 kills, 71. I managed to kill off a lot of his general and bodyguard. I think I got a charge off on his gen earlier on in the game. And so I also... Oh, no. I managed to start shooting at his general really early on in the game. And because of these Rhodian slingers' high AP damage, they managed to get a lot of kills on them. Now I'm going to come in charging on these Hastadi, so they should be able to... or my Thessalians should be able to kill a lot of them right on the charge. Yeah, you could see. I think I killed like 20 of them just off the charge. I turned off formation. I turned off pike phalanx on my pikemen, and used them to rush the Syrian archers and just catch them in melee. And meanwhile, my Thessalians, I'm just doing the same stuff over and over again, just rear charging as many troops as possible. And in the meanwhile, my Thessalians are losing a lot of men, but they are getting, more than anything, the morale penalty is going to prove to be too much for some of his units to handle. Again, his Evocatis are the ones that I need to be watching, but because of, constant rear charges and just like being able to whittle them down with my Rhodian slingers, I've managed to, kill a lot of those units. His general and bodyguard is basically done at this point. I issued an attack order with my Thoria spears onto his general and bodyguard, so if they die, then that will be a pretty big blow. Again, rear charging onto one of his legionaries, so these units should be much more susceptible to a morale penalty from a rear charge because they only have 55 base morale. So I'm going to charge and pull away. 103 kills on one of my Thessalians, 175 on the other, and now it's going to pour in and attack these Syrian archers, because I remembered, or I saw him issue an attack order with his Syrian archers, so I turned on pike phalanx on my pikemen again. And charging in with these Thessalians should be pretty devastating. And he's got some Vigiles, which actually did a really good job of screening away my units. But they are in pretty thin formation, so I should be able to charge them. I don't think I charged them in because I was just too scared in the midst of the battle. So yeah, I just pulled them off. And now that I was able to pull them off, they're just going to come into contact with these pikes. So that should be pretty deadly for them. And yeah, at this point, actually, it kind of looks like it could swing in my favor, but it's definitely very close. His legionaries are going to get a rear charge. It almost looked like they were about to get a rear charge on my general, but I managed to turn them around just in the nick of time. And his avocados could charge into the backs of my general, but again, these are very tanky units that we're talking about, and I also had a pikeman behind them to support. I've also charged in with my Thoria Spears to get another rear charge and timed that in with a Warcry, so that morale stack should be a bit too much for these legionaries to handle. They are starting to waver. Let's see if they can, yep, there they go, they're broken. So that's excellent, that's huge news, a very huge piece of good news in my favor. So these Syrian archers are going to be chased off by pikemen. I've turned on pike phalanx just at the last second so that, because I think his legionaries were about, or his Ivakaris were about to attack them. And yeah, so his Thessalians, my Thessalians are going to be charged by his Vigiles. I honestly should have just charged them in and destroyed them, because they only have 30 base morale, so they definitely would have been very susceptible to any sort of charge. And this is just this huge, look at this massive blob of spears. It's a square formation Thoria spears mixed in with a hoplite phalanx shield bearer general, and these shield bearers have got 150 kills with a double chevron on Roman infantry. That is just unbelievable. And let's put it in cinematic mode, because my Thessalians are about to come in for what should be a pretty devastating rear charge. These are depleted Thessalians, but they're going to rear charge some really depleted Roman units. And that's going to be it for these Eagle cohorts for sure. 17 men left, 16, 15, they're dropping really quickly. Avocadi cohorts with 257 kills, you can't really expect much less from them, but still they've done really well. And but yeah, it does look like it's going to go in my favor, just because I have a shield bearer general who is only at 3, who's still at 2/3 strength. I did finally charge into those Vigiles, and I think that caused a lot of kills. And look at these Thessalians though, 242 kills with a double experience chevron. I managed to get another Warcry on those Eagle cohorts, shattering them. And that's going to be it for this Roman opponent, this Roman army. It's going to be a bit too much. That Warcry was just incredibly effective in routing out some of his units, and that's why I would never pick anything other than a Warcry general ever. Timing that in with some rear charges is just, it almost instantly routes any other unit. But hope you guys enjoyed this replay, something a bit different, because I hardly ever bring Pikes and I hardly ever win with Pikes. But I think more than Pikes, it was my Thessalians who actually won me this battle, along with my shield bearer general, who I think was a really good pick by me. I was really surprised at how well they do. I only brought them because they were cheap, and for how much they cost, they're just incredible units. Probably should have brought Cretans instead of Rhodian slingers, but some of them did do decently, and we never know. I mean, they could have, they probably helped a lot in whittling down the HP of some of these high HP Avocadi units that Roman Ronin brought. But good game to Roman Ronin, and hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and stay tuned for more. Peace.